Hello, it's Sarah Devereaux here, and welcome to the Balancing Life in Heels show, helping successful businesswomen to achieve success and balance in both their personal and professional lives. So today on our interview, we have Kim Baird from Amazing Business, and I'm truly honoured to have Kim on our show today. Now, Kim is an author, speaker, coach and trainer, and she specialises in inner game work, and that's helping people to transform their internal world to create real change in their lives. Now, Kim's passionate about transforming people and helping them find balance in all areas, inner peace and genuine happiness. So with that, I would love to introduce you all to Kim. Now, Kim, I know that you've been very successful in your business, having recently been on the cover story or the cover story feature in Epic Mentors magazine. And last year, I know that you were the winner of the Gower Award, which is an international publishing author award, for your book, Gifts from the Darkness. So I know our audience would love to hear, what is it that you're doing now and how do you help people?
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah, for having me. Yeah, so like you said, it was last year that I started writing my book. I actually saw the competition, the International Publishers Competition, about 3 weeks before the competition was ending. And I had no plans to write a book then, and I just went, oh, wouldn't it be nice? Kind of had this intuitive feeling to write a book and enter it into the competition. And so I wrote my book and the manuscript for the book in 3 weeks. And I entered the Gower International Publishers Competition, and it got shortlisted into the top 6 entries, and ended up taking out the entire competition and winning the International Publishers Award. So that was pretty amazing for that book. So that's all about your, coming through challenges and adversity in your life and finding the gifts and the life lessons out of those dark times, and actually turning it around to lead a more happy and fulfilled life, and lead more of an amazing life for yourself. So that was kind of the start of the journey of the book, and it's just been published in February this year. So that's been really exciting. It had an awesome launch, and that's been one of my main focuses at the moment, and also diving deeper into a 10-week Awaken Your Inner Game program, which is all about transforming people's inner world, their inner game. Their things like their thoughts, their habits, their beliefs, their attitudes, your dreams, your purpose in life, stuff like that. All that internal stuff that actually creates your external world and what's going on around you. So those are my main focuses at the moment, is getting my book out there and also launching my Inner Game program.
Wow, Kim, it sounds like you've been busy over the last little while. And I just want to say how amazing it was that you followed your intuitive feeling in writing that book, and look at what has happened as a result. So big congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And it's one of the things that I always encourage people to do, is follow those intuitive gut feelings, because they normally lead to just amazing things happening and just miracles happening in your life because of those. So follow those.
Fantastic. Yes, I'd have to absolutely agree with you on that. Following your gut or going with your intuition is absolutely a way I love to live my life also.
Awesome.
So, Kim, what's one thing that you're really excited about in your business right now? I know that you've got your book launching.
Yeah, so, the one thing that's really exciting me at the moment is, like I said, the book launched in February, and just the response that I've had from that has got me so excited, because, we all have these kind of fears and self-doubts that are like, oh, are we actually, am I actually good enough to be an author. And, like, I failed English at school, and I got told by my English teachers that I was a crap writer and I was never going to amount to anything. So to put out a book, right, was, there's a lot of fear and self-doubt that comes up there of like, are people actually going to relate to this? Are they going to resonate to this? Is this actually going to cause the impact that I want? Because one of my biggest values is impact and actually transforming people's lives. And so I had this massive intention for this book that it would create impact and that it would really and truly change people's lives massively. And so it got launched in February, and since then I've just had this overwhelming response from people, messages, emails. I've had gifts in my PO box turning up from strangers just telling me the impact that the book has already had on them and what has changed in their lives. It's just been absolutely phenomenal. And so that really excites me because, one of my biggest values is impact. And so to actually see the impact that the book is already having, and it's, only been launched for just over a month, is just been so exciting and phenomenal to me, because it's just, it's getting my heart lit up. It's like, oh my God, it's actually creating the change that I really wanted it to get.
Wow. And I can hear that passion and that excitement in your voice as you speak about the impact that you are creating, and to be living in alignment with that value just must feel so good, which it sounds like it does.
Oh, it's awesome. It just really lights me up. It's cool.
Yes, I can hear it. That's amazing. And so, Kim, I know that you're fiercely motivated to achieve this great impact through your work as an author, a coach, a trainer, and a speaker. And I know that you're really dedicated to creating massive success for your clients. And so I'd love to hear about your past and what has shaped you to be who you are today.
Yeah, cool. So probably my past, it's probably no surprising that I had quite a lot of adversity and challenges in my upbringing and in my life, which is why I'm now helping people with that area of their lives, because I've kind of helped to get through those tough times and overcome them. So, going right back to my birth, I was born, I really felt like I was different and I didn't really belong here. I was born with a disability, so I was born with cataracts, and I wasn't able to see very well in my right eye, and in my left eye I was actually completely blind. And this really shaped my childhood massively because it brought up so much adversity and challenges that I really had to overcome. I had great fears around losing my parents, because when I was outside in a crowd, I kept losing them, because I couldn't see very far. And so I grew up with a lot of anxiety and fear. And when I went to school, I got bullied a lot because of my eyesight, because of my disability, and because of the things that I couldn't do because of it, basically. And so I really felt so different and so alone in this world. And I found it really hard, and I struggled a lot. And when I came into being a teenager, I went into quite a deep depression. And I really struggled through that time, and I just wanted to be normal, right? Like it was kind of like my mission in life to be normal. And so that is what I became obsessed with. I felt so different. I was I would give anything to be normal. And so I went on the mission to be normal. And, I did things like I refused any extra help at school that they wanted to give me because, I was struggling and had a disability. So they were like, hey, here's some extra help. And I refused to have it because I was like, I want to be normal. Like, I'm not going to be any different than anyone else. So I went on this journey of becoming normal. And then in the midst of that, I also suffered from a lot of chronic health issues. So in my late teens and my early 20s, I was chronically sick to the point where I could hardly function at all as a person. And I got to a breaking point with that where I had to make a decision of what I was going to do. Otherwise, I simply was going to be taken out. Like, I truly believe that if I did not change that situation, then I would not be here today. So I had a turning point then, and I decided to turn my life around, and I eventually got to that place where I was like, oh, I feel like I'm normal now. Like, I kind of fit into society's little box. Like, I have a job and I have a boyfriend and I've got friends that I'm out partying with every weekend, and I'm normal. And, you know, I stopped and I looked around when I reached that place, because I'd been striving to get there for so many years. And I went, is this it?
Mm.
You know, like, really? Like, I've worked so hard to get to normal. And now I'm like, normal is just not what I was expecting it to be. I'm like, there's all these people that are just unhappy. They're whining about life. They're complaining. Nothing's ever good enough. They don't have what they want. And I went, okay, right, you know, I'm in my early 20s, so maybe I'll look to the adults in my life and go, okay, well, surely by 50, 60, you guys have got it sorted. And I looked to the 50 and 60-year-olds around me, and I went, you guys are unhappy, you're miserable, you're whining, you're complaining. I'm like, what's the point of life if you're going to live like this? And so that was when I made a committed decision to not just live a normal life, but to live an extraordinary life, an amazing life. And I went on a journey to then achieve that, which of course took me, you know, on many challenges and adversities along the way on that path as well. You know,
Yeah.
the road is not a smooth and easy one. But that's my goal, is to have an extraordinary and amazing life. So that's where I got to.
That is so powerful, hearing your story, and how, you know, initially your aim in life was to get to normal, and then you realized, actually, is this it? And decided, no, enough is enough. I want more. I want amazing. I want extraordinary. And Kim, I'd love to know, what were those initial steps that you took to take action from normal to extraordinary?
Well, I was very lucky because I found a really amazing business mentor. So basically, in my early 20s, I got married to my boyfriend, and what happened was, a month before we were getting married, I was actually studying at university then, so he was our sole breadwinner, but a month before we got married, he got made redundant from his really high-paying IT job. And so it's not the best way to start off a marriage, but kind of throw us into challenge straight away. But what we decided to do was, we actually decided to start a business on the back of this challenge and turn it into a really good opportunity. So we started a business, and that's kind of where our love of business came from. And in the first year, we actually did really, really well. But in the second year, we nearly went out of business. Like, I was studying IT and websites and online marketing, and that was also my husband's background. So we went into making websites for small businesses. And so we were really good at what we did, but we had no business skills, and so that's why we nearly went out of business. Basically, in the second year, it was a shocking time. But what we did was, we found an amazing business mentor that helped us turn that around. So the first step was actually finding a mentor who knew what they were doing, and I was so blessed to find that business mentor, because I've had many other business mentors and life mentors and coaches since, and he was just so remarkable that I was like, you know what, you were the key reason for my transformation and the catalyst for what was coming after that. And if I hadn't got that coach and mentor to start with, I don't know where I would be today, but he certainly changed my life. And, you know, that's kind of the feeling and driver behind me for what I'm doing now, because I really want to change people's lives like he did for me.
Wow, that's amazing how much you took from that mentor, and it seems like it stayed with you all this time and has impacted on how you relate with your clients.
It is, but I mean, the thing was, like when we first got him, it wasn't like it was a 180-degree turnaround either. Like there was a lot of time, there was a lot of steps, and like I coached with him for years to actually turn that around. So it wasn't like it was an overnight success or anything like that from working from him. And I think sometimes people do get a bit impatient and they expect massive leaps straight away, which can happen. But in reality, it's actually small steps that kind of get you there. And so with that business mentor, it was small steps. Like it wasn't a complete turnaround overnight, but the small steps got us there, and it made such a massive impact in the long run.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's a really great life lesson. And Kim, I'd love to know, in your opinion, what is one big piece of advice that you would give to someone?
One big piece of advice that I would give to someone. Do you know what? It would probably be to believe in yourself. No one else is going to believe in you until you start believing in yourself. And self-doubt and fear is, it's those are the biggest blocks, the biggest internal blocks that I see in people and my clients and people around me that actually holds them back. That fear and that self-doubt. And so my biggest advice would be, don't let the fear ruin your life. Don't let the fear stop you from doing what you want. Like I had so much fear when I was writing my book, but I didn't let that stop me. And I had heaps of self-doubt, and I didn't let that stop me either. And I could have let that stop me so many times along the path. It took a year to get it from winning that award to then being published, and many challenges in that year to actually get it out. There's things in that book that my family didn't even know beforehand. So I had to go through a whole journey of getting that book out. And so there's a lot of work that you need to do on your self-belief and just believing in yourself, because you're way more amazing and powerful than anyone gives credit for themselves. So believe in yourself.
That is really, really powerful, and that resonates. Even as I was listening to you, I was like, yes, self-belief. That's ultimately what it comes down to.
Yeah, all the most successful people in this world, they believe in themselves, enough to go and take the action, and to get rejected again and again and again. They keep believing in themselves, so they don't stop at that first rejection or the 10th rejection or the 20th rejection. They keep going because they believe in themselves.
Yes, absolutely. And so, Kim, I'm wondering if you were to go back in time to your former self and tell your old self one thing, what would that be?
Well, it would probably be exactly that. To believe in yourself.
Yes. I thought it might be.
Yeah, it would probably be exactly that, because I think that's just so powerful, and it's such a powerful reminder and lesson for people. And I grew up, I had some very critical people in my life that criticized me a lot and made me feel not worthy, and that was my own choice to not feel worthy from that, but that's how I took it on, and that's how I took it on board. Their love and intentions were of a good kind, not of a nasty kind, but I took all that criticalness that was getting fired at me to mean that I'm not good enough and I'm not worthy. And when I was a kid, I almost went completely mute. Like I was really quiet and really introverted because of that criticism. And so I never felt like I had anything of value to give to the world, and I never felt like I had anything worthy in the world to be, like I never felt worthy, I never felt good enough, and I never felt like people wanted to hear what I had to say. And so just getting that message of believing in myself and knowing that I had value and I had worth in this world, it would have been such a powerful message to give my teenage self, 20 years ago.
How would that have changed things for you if you did have that message back then?
Well, I think it's interesting. Like, I really believe that things happen to you in life for a reason. And so I think everything that's happened in my life has been a reason, and it's got me to this place. And so I actually really love and appreciate all of it. Like, I love the criticism in my childhood that actually made me go inward, because there was great benefits in that. And so I wouldn't necessarily want to change anything, like my life. I found it really challenging. I've been through a lot of adversity in my life. But it's all shaped me to where I am today. And I couldn't be, on this podcast with you or writing a book and being a leader and being an author if I hadn't actually gone through all that. And so I think, that is an interesting question. What would it have changed for me? Well, maybe I would have been a leader earlier in my life. But maybe then, if I actually believed in myself more, then maybe I would have taken a completely different path in life. I don't know. So it's an interesting question. I don't really believe that I want to change any of my past, because like I said, it kind of gets me to where I am today, and I love and appreciate every journey and every challenge along the way that's got me to here.
I love your genuine appreciation for every part of your journey. Yeah, I can really, really feel that. And so if we were to talk about life balance now, I'd love to know from you, being a successful businesswoman, a mother of two, a wife, what is the hardest challenge that you've had when trying to balance your life up until now?
Yeah, interesting question. So balance in my life. I've always been big on balance, which is great, but I have certainly had some big imbalancing times in my life. So probably the biggest challenges around it is really just finding the time to make it all fit, right? Because it's like, you can be in a big project, like when I was writing my book, right? Obviously that took an intense amount of time, and so some other areas of my life had to slip during that time because it was such an intense time of working purely on that project. And so it's then about bringing back the balance once you've kind of done what you need to do, and not forgetting to have that balance and letting things get out of control. And certainly for a few of the challenges that have come up in my life, I've got a daughter who has special needs, and so for 2 years of her life, when she was a baby, we actually nearly lost her, and I was purely pretty much looking after her, trying to keep her alive, while trying to run a business as well. And for me, my challenge has always been that my top value in life, my number one value in life, is my family. And so I almost put them number one too much of the time, and sometimes I can let the business side slip. Would actually be my biggest challenge that I've had with balancing. Because my family means like the world to me. They're my number one biggest driver in life is my family, and spending quality time with them. And so for me, the challenge is then bringing it back to the business and actually going, okay, well, you actually need to support your family as well and look after your business and your finances. So bring it back to that and having time to focus on the business. which is normally the other way around for people. Normally they're focused on the business, they're spending lots of time in the business, and they let their family slip. For me, because my biggest driver is family, I actually get pulled way too much sometimes in their direction and let them take up too much of my time. And, you know, what I'm doing in the business doesn't necessarily get done 100%, you know, as well as it could do.
It's a really an interesting perspective on how your life is, because I know that for a lot of our listeners it does tend to be the other way around.
Yes.
But I do want to say that I love how in alignment you are with your values and how clear you are on your values, Kim.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, once you get clear on your values, you actually see how your life is being driven.
Yes.
Your life gets driven from your values. And so, you know, getting clear on what my top values are gets me clear on why I make the choices that I make and why I, you know, lead myself down paths that I lead myself down. And some of those are good paths and some of them aren't so good paths. And so when you're walking down a not so good path, you can go, oh, why have I done this? Oh, right, I see, because I've been driven by this value. And so, and so often our values can conflict, which can actually then stop us, or, you know, create internal conflict that can then actually hinder us as well. So until you actually work out your values and how to get all your values in alignment with each other, then it's actually quite difficult to get to where you want to get to.
Absolutely. And that's where a coach comes in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now I'd love to know, Kim, you know, for me, I know that life balance is all about creating genuine fulfillment in each area of my life, including my relationships with my family, my health, my business, and also ensuring that I get enough me time. And I'm curious, because I know that it's so different for everyone, but what is true balance to you, and why does having true balance matter to you as a successful businesswoman?
Yeah, great question. So why does it matter to me? Do you know what? It keeps me sane. I think without balance, you go a little bit loopy. And I think your spirit, your soul, your self, you need balance in all areas of your life to kind of help you feel fulfilled. So if you're working really hard and you're bringing in lots of money, but you don't have that deep connection with, say, your partner or your kids or your friends, then there's going to be something that's missing in your life. Or if you are really, really healthy and you focus on your health and you're this healthy person, really strong and well, but your finances are suffering, then that's going to cause tension and stress and pain in your life as well. And so getting balance in all areas, I actually think is crucial for your mental and your emotional sanity. Because that's when you've got everything in balance. And, you know, in all truth, it's very rare that every single piece of your life is in balance 100%. So normally there'll be something that's a bit out of balance that you need to work on, and then you get it back in balance, and then something else will go out of balance, and then you'll work on that and you get that back in balance. So, you know, in reality, to get everything fully balanced 100% of the time in your life is actually not a reality. You know, like it's always a working balance, because something is always kind of going to fall down. You're going to drop the ball somewhere, and you're going to have to work on that to pick it up again. So, and you know, you can say this ideal of having this really nicely balanced life, but it's in reality it's not always the perfect picture. But to me, heading towards that ideal picture is always my aim, because to me it just makes me build up, it brings me the most happiness and joy. And so, you know, when I was looking after my daughter for 2 years, I had no me time during that time, and I totally lost myself. And I went back into a depression then, because I felt lost, even though I was serving my daughter, you know, with my 100% of my love and my care and my attention, there was something missing in me. And so I had to learn to then put that balance back in my life of looking after me so that I could look after her better and look after the rest of my family better and look after my business better. And so, yeah, balance to me is all about joy and your mental and emotional health.
Lovely. And I think the way that you've just summed that up at the end about balancing about joy and looking after your mental and your emotional health, that's at the crux of it. Yeah, that's a really great way of summarising. And so, come on, I want to know, what is the one balanced living golden nugget that you believe everyone should live by?
The one balancing going, there's so many. How can I cut it down to just one? Do you know what? I would actually say to work out what's really important and cut out the other stuff. So, because we waste, we live in a bit of an illusion in our minds that we are doing things kind of better than we actually are. And what I mean by that is, we can sit on Facebook for an hour mucking around instead of actually getting into business stuff and making sales calls. And we don't tell ourselves the truth. We don't go, oh, well, I mucked around for an hour today, I could be making sales calls. We'll kind of put a bit of an illusion in our mind. And so when getting more balance in your life, I like to look at what's important in your life. So, if you're working too hard and you need to spend more time with your family is so important. And I can tell you from someone that, our daughter, we nearly lost her. Like, it was so close. She was in intensive care. She was in hospital for 5 weeks. When you nearly lose a loved one, you know what's important. And that is your family. Like, the people in your lives are the most important people, are the most important thing. And so give those people that you love, whether that's your kids or your partner or your parents or your friends or your family, whoever that is, give them some real love and time in your schedule. Because, it's not that nothing else matters, but they are the most important thing. And so make time for them. And when you make time for them, actually make real time when you're actually present with them, not sitting around watching TV with them, actually sitting down and, playing with your kids, having fun with your kids and being present and not thinking about work and all the clients you've got, all the hassles that are going on at the moment in the rest of your life. Just be fully 100% present with the people, whether that is your kids or whether it's your partner. Like, so many couples, whether they're married or not, they don't actually spend much connection time together. And so they'll sit in front of the TV every night, but that's not actually building an amazing relationship, Whereas if you cut out TV even one night a week and actually sit there and have a real conversation, you're going to improve your marriage. You're going to improve your partnership. If you sit there and play with your kids for half an hour a day, then, oh my God, your kids' attitudes are going to change completely. And that's one of the signs that I see when I'm losing balance with my family. My son will go off the rails, basically, and I'm like, okay, right, I need to bring some balance back to my family, and I need to have more quality time with him. So it's like, look at the signs of what's going on in your life and bring the balance to every area of your life and work out what is actually important and cut out all the other stuff that's not serving you. Yes,
and that is a absolutely amazing golden nugget. I love how you spoke about, essentially just cutting out the other stuff that isn't serving us, that, is not our real priority, and, being present with our priorities in our relationships or even in our work or in, to do with our health. I think being present really adds to that that feeling of balance and connection with what we're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, Kim, we're just about at the end of our interview, and I know that you have a special giveaway for our audience today. You mentioned to me earlier that you're giving away the first chapter of your book, Gifts from the Darkness, for free to our listeners. And so I'd love to know, where can our listeners go to get the first chapter of your amazing book? I'm sure going to go.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I am wanting to gift your audience a copy of, it's actually up to the end of the first chapter, so it includes the introduction and the foreword and the note from the publisher and everything. So you get a real decent amount of book to actually read and get into it and see if it's for you. And like I said, it's all about overcoming adversity and challenges and turning that around to lead a more happy and fulfilled life. So the URL to go to is giftsfromthedarkness.com /get first chapter.
Awesome.
And hopefully you'll be able to put that in a link on the
I will. I was just
as well.
Yes, I was just going to say I'll pop it underneath this podcast interview.
Awesome.
So, Kim, I've absolutely loved interviewing you today, just hearing about how you have overcome adversity, how you've overcome that fear and that self-doubt to get to a place where you don't just want to live a normal life, but you actually want to live an amazing, extraordinary life, and how you want to help so many people do the same. So it has been an honour interviewing you today, and I just want to know, do you have any last words that you would like to share with the audience?
Oh, any last words? Do you know what? I would just say, go out and live an extraordinary life as well. Like, get committed to that, because life doesn't have to be mundane. It doesn't have to be this struggle and this constant pain and hurting. And everyone can go out and actually create their own life and create their own reality. So why not go out and make it be extraordinary?
Powerful, powerful words. So thank you so much, Kim. As I said, it's been an honour interviewing you on our show today. Please, everyone, remember to go and get up to the end of Kim's first chapter in her absolutely amazing book, Gifts from the Darkness. I'm going to be sure to go and get it myself. So, again, thank you so much. This has been Sarah Devereaux from the Balancing Life and Heels show, helping successful businesswomen to achieve success and balance in both their personal and their professional lives. So have an absolutely amazing day. Stay tuned for more interviews, and remember to go grab my free training on how you can truly balance your life in heels. So thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.